In the meantime, if you have been to PopUp before, write one of your favorite things about it in the chat. I'm going to share plenty of my favorite things, so I'm going to refrain from putting things in the chat for right now. So I think, does everybody here know each other? Should we do a quick round of intros? Does everybody know each other? Thumbs up? Does everybody know each other? Thumbs down?
I probably know the least.
Let's do just a very quick round of intros. And as Lindsay's entering, I'll share the same prompt with Lindsay. Good morning, Lindsay. Hi. So we're asking for folks who have been to Pop-Up before if they would write one of their favorite things about Pop-Up in the chat. And so far, Catherine says, I love Pop-Up because of the feeling in the air and the shared commitment to women and girls. Erin says, I haven't been, but really look forward to it. Heard great things. Casey says, discussion at the table with others about organizations. So we'll do a very quick round of introductions, and then we'll get started with this training. It's going to be fairly brief, fairly low key today. My name is Sasha Summer Cusino. I use she, her pronouns, and I am leading this conversation today because I love pop-up and all things women and girls. I am going to toss it to Catherine.
Yes, I'm Catherine. I'm on staff with the foundation and yeah, very excited to be here today to learn more from Sasha. Was I supposed to share something else? I am blanking out. Okay. Then that's me, and I pass it to Casey.
Hi, I'm on the Women and Girls Committee. I've been on other committees before. I love pop-up, and I would be excited to be able to bring more people to the event. So I look forward to learning from Sasha's great expertise. And I will send it over to Erin.
Hi everyone, my name is Erin Brown. I'm somewhat new to Seattle, joined the Washington Women's Foundation just late spring, early summer. I've been a consultant for about 12 years. I worked in international development, have helped nonprofits, foundations. Most recently, I helped with a gender impact assessment with the County of LA. None of my projects have ever been in Washington, so I've been working remote for a long, long time, and I was excited to join this. My kids are finally in school, so I kind of have a little bit more free time and have been doing more in-person things. So I'm just excited to be here, and I know a lot about women and girls issues, so thanks for having me.
Oh, we toss it to Aviva.
Sure. Hey, everyone. Aviva, also on staff. I just want to share again our gratitude to Sasha for both the idea of doing this training and being willing to share her vast expertise, especially in the realms of getting people to come out to events. So always room for improvement, I think, for me to know how to do that, and also for us as a collective. So appreciate it. Thank you all for being here. And sorry, I'll pass it to Jessica. Hey, Jessica.
Hey Viva. Jessica, I joined the Washington Women's Foundation last October, so it's coming up on my 1 year anniversary. I was on the grants review committee in the spring, and I just joined the GET committee to keep involved with our wonderful grantees. So I'm just here to learn more. I had planned to, well, I'd wanted to go to Pop-Up last year, but I was out of town. So I won't be out of town this year. So hopefully, hoping to learn more about the event and see how I can help with bringing more people in.
Who do you want to toss it to? Let's just toss it to Kim.
Hi, everybody. It's good to see you. I am relatively new to the Washington Women's Foundation. I'm the development director. It's a new position here. I started in April and I haven't been to pop-up. So I'm really excited to be a part of this training and learn more. I know this is a really special event, and I am just so thankful for you, Sasha, for being willing to do this training and give us tips and tricks on how to get people to this special event. And so And it's just on a separate note, so exciting that I recognize so many people on this call. So it's good to see you again. You know who you are.
Right. And who do you want to toss it to, Kim?
Oh, Mercedes.
Thanks, Kim. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Mercedes Luna. I use she, her pronouns. I have been a member for a little over a year now. Last year, I had the opportunity to serve on the Women and Girls Grant, which was really a great experience. I wasn't able to go to pop-up last year, but I'm hopeful that I can get a work conflict moved and I can attend this year. Yes, fingers crossed. Thank you, Sasha. Really great to see so many familiar and new faces. I think, Lindsay, have you gone yet? I'll pass it to you.
Hi, Lindsay Effner, she, her pronouns. I have been a member of Washington Women's Foundation for, I guess we're going on like 10 months. So I'm still kind of in my first year. I haven't been to pop-up, really excited about it. I helped out with grant making in the spring and I'm also supporting this fall. And I'm excited to learn. Meredith, I believe you are next, so I will pop it to you.
Thanks, Lindsay. Hi, everybody. Sorry to join a few minutes late. I'm Meredith Stillwell. I am co-leading this year's Women and Girls Grant Making Committee with Sasha and our colleague Laura. Yeah, very happy to be here. And I missed the prompt, but I think it's how long have I been a member of Washington Women's Foundation and what's my role? So on and off, I've been a member for a couple of years. I took a brief hiatus after joining the Collective Grant Making Committee when I moved out of state, but I'm very happy to be back and happy to be part of the Women and Girls Grant Making Committee this year. And I don't know if there's anyone who hasn't gone, so maybe I'll just pass it back to Sasha.
I think that was everybody. Yeah, that was everybody, correct? Okay, cool. I'm going to dive in and I'm going to do just a quick overview of what pop-up is and the logistics of pop-up. And then I'll spend a little bit more time about, the simple, fun strategies for filling a table or even just for bringing folks, even if you decide not to fill a whole table. I will leave time for Q&A, but because we have a short time together, I'm going to motor through just a little bit of material here just to get us rolling. So, for those of you who have not yet been to pop-up, get ready for a thrilling experience. It is like speed dating for grant making. And the room is this vibrant and joyful mix of Washington Women's Foundation members, but also broader community members. And in a brief span of time together, we get to learn about the 9 organizations that the Women and Girls Grant Committee has advanced forward to pop up. There will be 3 in each priority funding area. The tables at the pop-up will be evenly distributed between the funding areas. And then people as a table will learn about the 3 grantees and then have rich conversation about who they want to win the grant. And then each table will sort of get to caucus if you've ever been to caucuses. Back in my pro-choice Washington days, I did a lot of caucusing. But if you've ever been to a political caucus, it's like that, but better looking, I'll say. Just a very cool group of people in the community, very like us, right? Our vibe, our culture, our mission, our work. So it's an exciting room, and everybody gets to like rally for who they hope to win, and then we all get to vote. 3 organizations, 1 in each priority area, are given the larger grant, which I always mess this up, $15,000 Aviva. Yeah. And then the remaining 6 do get a thank you for your time and for being awesome grant, which is smaller. So that's the brief explanation of it. I did not get to go my first year on the Women and Girls Grant Committee because I was out of town, but I did get to go last year and I was thrilled. It was a joyful, fun experience. And it was such a win because not only does it raise awareness of our grantees and their critical work serving women and girls in our communities across Washington state, it also raises awareness of our work as the foundation, our values, our principles, our whys, the lenses through which we do this work. And it does so in a way that is joyful, fun, informative. And I especially loved that it introduces people in sort of a shorthand fashion to the joy of collective giving, the joy and power that you feel when you give money collectively. And then, not for nothing, last year we also raised a pretty decent amount of money for Washington Women's Foundation. We raised like $50,000. And it was our first time last year really treating it as a fundraiser. And so, I mean, there had been soft asks in the past, but my goal is to obviously grow not just attendance, but also funds raised this year because I love raising money. I'll tell you the biggest takeaway I got is for people who sat at my tables. Sorry, I also have a little bit of a cold. They expressed one, that they had fun. Two, they felt real connection. Three, they felt like they had learned important things on that night. And four, they felt like what we're doing as a foundation is so unique. So I'm getting text messages, phone calls, visits from friends for the, week or month after the event, and I'm continuing to get this overwhelmingly positive feedback. So to me, this is a win on so many levels for our grantees and for us as a foundation, which is why I want, and I think all of us feel so excited about supporting this event. So this year we're going to be at the Labor Temple in Belltown. Tickets are $65, or a table for 10 is $650. And, when we're thinking about filling a table, the goal is myself plus 9. And there's a couple of ways that you can do that. What I did last year is that I just purchased my tables outright. I purchased 3 tables outright. And then and I'm going to get a little more specific about this shortly. I told my guests, I'm going to host you. I would really like you to make a gift at the event. I'm going to change my model this year. I'm going to say, I'm hosting X number of tables. I would love for you to join. The cost is this. If you're able to pay for your ticket, here's the link. If for any reason the cost is prohibitive, let me know and I'm happy to host you. So I'm going to change my strategy this year. Why am I changing my strategy? Because when people don't pay for something, they're more likely to flake. And so where people can invest, I think it increases the attendance rate. And then obviously I won't put a barrier in somebody's way who wants to come. I will host them if I want. You all get to make your own choices, right? You don't have to do that. But if you wish to just reserve a table, you just talk to Aviva and Catherine. The website is fairly simple. You can reserve a table. They will hold those seats for you at your table, and then you can fill them in as your guests purchase their table. If you want to buy it outright, have them reimburse you, you get to decide. You are the captain of your ship, right? Another thing you could do if you're like, wow, Sasha, me plus 9, that feels like a heavy lift. I am not so certain I can do that. You can host half a table. And what I would encourage to make it just really fun and dynamic is if you hook up with a friend at Washington Women's Foundation and say, hey, I want to fill 4 seats. Can you fill 5? Or whatever the case might be. But again, then you just tell Aviva and Catherine, hey, we are going to host a table, and then folks can hold these tickets for me, and then folks can go and purchase tickets. So, last year, I think the easier lift for Catherine and Aviva is if we purchase our tables outright and have our friends reimburse us. But I will say last year, Aviva and Catherine were very gracious and kind with me, as I purchased my tables in advance and then gave them people names. So all of that is fairly malleable and flexible. But then you're like, all right, okay. So Sasha, I know that it's $65 per ticket or $650 for a table of 10. I know I can host my whole table. I know I can share a table. I know I could purchase outright, or I can ask my guests to purchase their own. But how do I do it? And so this is where I can't remember, Aviva or Catherine, would you please drop in the chat the link for the handout for today? And then also, pretty please do a screen share. And we're going to start to talk in more detail about how to fill a table. So nothing about filling a room or filling a table is rocket science. None of this is bigger than you or harder than the skill set that you have. But I will tell you, from many, many years of working in events, from working in development, from filling rooms or just filling tables, the key is start early, and it requires consistent and reliable effort. So if you've ever started a SCOBY for your kombucha, or a sourdough starter, or planted a garden and watered it through the summer, we know that we don't just start the thing and leave it alone, right? We start it And then we just continue little bit by little bit to feed, 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 feed. So consistent and reliable effort. We just continue to do a little bit of work, but consistently. We don't start it and drop it and then pick it back up. We start it and we feed, 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 feed. And then, there are really 4 steps in feeding your sourdough starter or your SCOBY of your event table at PopUp. So the 4 steps, number 1, you want to create your list. And I'm going to go into more detail about each of these. Number 2, you'll want to start asking ASAP. Number 3, track your efforts. Number 4, follow up, follow up, follow up. So digging into each of these steps a little bit more. When you build your dream list, think about who should be at this event. Who cares? Who do you know whose visions and values align to the work of Washington Women's Foundation? Who do you know who's deeply invested in supporting the health, equity, safety, and not just surviving but thriving of women and girls, right? Who do you know? Build your list. If your goal is you plus 9 people, my suggestion is that you build a dream list that is 2 to 3 times larger than the number of people you need at your table. So I would say if you want to fill 9 seats, you're building a list no smaller than 18 dream people. Here's why. Here's what I know about the greater Seattle area. We are one of the most event-heavy cities in the nation, and I'm not making this up. This is facts. We are also one of the most philanthropic cities in the nation, and most of that philanthropy is in fact coming from the middle class. And so we are people who are asked a lot, both for our dollars, but also for our time. And so we want to build a list that is larger than the number of people we need at the event, simply because even if people care about it, they just might not be available. So last year, I ended up filling 3 tables. Interestingly, good to see you, Casey. I had a really high success rate in terms of my initial asks, but what I ended up having was also a high flake rate. So I filled 3 tables almost primarily with just every single person who was on my list saying yes, but then 1 table fully collapsed before the date of the event. So see what I mean? I ended up our tables were for 8 last year, right? Um, so I ended up recruiting 24 people and then having 16 at the event. So I did need a list that was larger than the number of people I meet at my table. So you do want to think in advance about the fact that people will get sick. It is a cold and flu time of year. You will want to think about the fact that people have family emergencies. So just build a list that is 2 to 3 times larger than the number of people you want to ask. And then let's start asking ASAP. December is closer than you think. And in particular, when we get into here comes Halloween, here comes Thanksgiving, bits of people's time and attention and bandwidth for even responding to you are going to get eaten up. So you want to start asking ASAP. But there is real skill to how you ask. And the skill is something that you have naturally and innately inside you. And this skill is part of what brings you to the work of Washington Women's Foundation. So when you ask, you want to ask with confidence. I'm a big believer in assuming support. So instead of saying, "Ooh, I know it's a really busy time of year and I don't mean to bother you, but I just think," I say, "Oh my gosh, I have the most exciting opportunity for you and I can't wait for you to join. I'm hosting this table. Last year was a blast, and this is what's going on. You're in, right?" So I put all of my language in an assumptive tone and also an upbeat and exciting tone. And it's not faking it because I believe it's exciting. I believe it's joyful. I believe it's important. So I'm being my own authentic self. So remember, you're not bothering people. You're having a conversation with them about something that you care deeply about and also likely about something they care deeply about. Try to use language that assumes support instead of assumes that you're being a drag on their time. And then make it a party. Talk about the fun elements about it. If you haven't been, talk about the fun things you've heard. Or just talk about Washington Women's Foundation and how much fun you're having with the work at Washington Women's Foundation. And then the most important thing you can do, so people ask me all the time, how did you get into fundraising? I hate asking for money. And you know what? When I was a younger person in the nonprofit sector and in development, I told people I would never ask for money. I will do anything but ask for money. But you know what ended up happening? I just started talking about the work. I worked for Pro-Choice Washington. I was on the board of abortion funding hotline. And I would just talk to people about this work that I cared so deeply about. And then they started donating money. I wasn't even asking them for money. I was just talking about something I cared about, and I was doing so with passion and authenticity. And then they're like, that's awesome. I want to donate money. And once I realized, oh, wait, I'm just being me and talking about something I care about in a way that is authentic and joyful because I'm passionate about this, and people are giving money. Yes, that is literally how fundraising works. That is it. That's the key to fundraising: authenticity and joy and inviting people into the process. So again, asking with confidence is just remembering you're not bothering people. You're talking about something that you and they likely care about very much. Assume support, make it a party, and be yourself. So you're going to start asking right away, and you're going to ask with confidence. And then you're going to track your efforts. So last year, filling 3 tables, I did every last bit of it on my phone. Every last bit of it. I did not make a phone call. I did all text messages. I did not do an email. Now, you know your friends, your colleagues, your peers, your family better than me. You know what method of communication works best for them. Use that method of communication. For me and my friends, texting is fine. I did an invite over text. I did a follow-up invite over text for people I hadn't heard from or people I said who said maybe. All my people who said yes, I did a confirmation email once they said yes, or text once they said yes. And then I did a day of event reminder. And then I tracked my list. So this person said yes. This person said no, I'm not going to bother them again. This person said maybe, I'm going to follow up in a few days. So I'm tracking my effort, and I just got my little memo app on my phone and I'm just tracking. And I said, oh, I spoke with this person on this day. They said follow up on this day. And then I followed up on the day that they asked me to convey my commitment, my seriousness. So tracking helped me because if I rely on my brain to remember every single conversation, especially since you think I was in conversation, since I was in conversation with 24 people, I'm not going to remember every detail. So I just tracked every single thing on my little memo app on my phone. When I did event turnout, I did it on Excel, right? Who did I talk to? What day did I talk to them? What was the result of that conversation? What is the required follow-up? You could decide what method is best for you. Again, you are the captain of your ship and you know what tools work best for you. But for me, tracking helped me stay on top of it and help me show my commitment and my seriousness by following up when people said maybe or following up when I said I was going to follow up. So we ask, we ask with confidence. We're starting right away. We're tracking our efforts and then follow up, follow up, follow up. That truly is the key to filling a room. That truly is a key to filling a table. So back when I used to do whole event turnout, I had a belief um, that the abs unlike let me unlike sex, the absence of a no did not the absence of a yes did not mean a no. So like, when I'm inviting people to an event, if they did not say no, then they have not said no. If they said maybe, or I just haven't heard back from them, I kept trying, and I tried 3 times before I assumed the answer was no. And why is that? People have busy work. People are asked to a lot of things. People have kids. There are a number of reasons why somebody may have said maybe and then not yet gotten back to you with a yes, or maybe you've texted and you haven't heard back. And I just assumed it didn't have to do with me, it had to do with them. And I was going to try at least 3 times before that. I was going to say, I guess that means no now. Now you have your own threshold for how many times you're going to ask, but follow up really is the key. And once again, it shows your commitment and it shows your investment and how serious you are about this work when you do actually follow up. And then now, if you'll go down to the sample invitation, another form of following up is just because you get a commitment, a person says, yes, I will be there. And they even tell you that they can't eat pork or that they have an allergy to gluten, right? Like even if they've gone so far as to give you what type of food they need to eat, doesn't mean they're actually going to show up. And again, why? We are busy people. Seattle is a busy place. And so I help my guests follow through on their yes by once I get a yes from them, I send a confirmation text to them. A few days out from the event, I said, I'm so excited to see you. Here's the know before you go type of information, but I didn't wait for the last minute. Because I'm like, if I wait to the last minute, they might have this might have fallen off their radar. So for a Thursday event, I would send it probably on Monday. I wouldn't bother on the weekend. For a Wednesday event, I'd send it on a Friday, right? So you just back it up and you want to get it on their radar so that you know they're not forgetting. And then on the day of the event, I said, I'm so excited to see you later. Here are things you might want to know. So when you follow up with your guests, it helps them follow through on their commitment to you. And again, if they don't follow through, it is not about you, it is about their lives. But we're just giving them little Hansel and Gretel crumbs to get them in the door. Because once they get in the door, they're going to be thrilled. I mean, and just excited to be there. So let's just do our best work to try to get them there. So that's really it. In this handout that you received, I gave you those are truly 100% with the updating of this year's verbiage, the text messages that I sent last year. And you're like, Sasha, your text messages are really long. Yes, my wife says the exact same thing. TLDR, my wife says to me. But other people clearly did read them because I was able to get 24 people to sign up and 16 people to come. And the people who did not, oh, I want to say one last thing. When you're asking, if somebody says, no, I cannot come, the follow-up ask is, would you be willing to make a donation in lieu of your attendance? Because people do it. They say, yes, I would love to. I see how excited you are about this. And I'm not making this up and I'm not being Pollyanna-ish. Last year, for every person who said no or every person who flaked at the last minute and couldn't come, I almost had 100% success rate in getting them to make a donation in lieu of attending. So it is a worthwhile ask if they say no or, oops, I'm so sorry I said yes, but now I can't. Hey, that's okay. Life happens. Will you make a donation in lieu of attendance? Thank you so much. I appreciate that. Okay, sorry, we are at time and I don't want to keep you past time, but I do want to answer any questions that you might have.
And Sasha, I think we do have a little bit more time
Okay.
slotted for this, but I also do want to share, you probably all saw Casey's question, and we just did add something to the registration. Like if you want to host a table, but you want individual people to purchase a ticket, I'm going to shift the language with Kim later, but it's essentially like, are you registering as part of someone's table? If so, who is it? And so that's all good to go if that's the way that you want it to go. So, but yeah, not trying to take over questions. You.
Oh, but that's an important piece of information, Catherine. Thank you, Kim,
Yeah.
for devising that. What questions do folks have or thoughts? How is this landing with you?
I just want to say I thought it was really helpful and reminding of just, like I feel encouraged because I feel like sometimes like when I'm repeating the ask or whatever, I feel like I'm crazy, but I love to hear that it works for you and that is really what works, but it makes me feel uncomfortable. I just wanted to put a note out to the group that, I'm relatively new to Seattle, don't know a ton of people here. I do have a handful. I would maybe consider like hosting a half a table. So if there is another person that's kind of like me and want to talk it through a little bit, I might be willing to do that. I would almost rather wait a year, but I could be encouraged if there is another member of the group that feels like me and we could kind of do it together. So I just want to put that out there. But thank you, Sasha. I think this is really helpful. And I was going to ask you for like if you had sample language. So you already nice job. Yeah.
What other thoughts or reflections do folks have or questions? Well, I will offer that I have been in and around events since the 90s. So I, used to be in the nonprofit sector for a long time. And many of those years I was in fundraising and development and was responsible for filling rooms of events. Now I do a lot less audience turnout, but I attend events as a onstage talent pretty frequently. So I have a pretty 360-degree view of events. And if anybody does come up with questions, you can email me, text me, call me. I love talking about this work. And I really particularly love this event because I go to anywhere between 50 and 60 events a year because of my job. And this is in the landscape of events that I've been to since the 90s, one of the most unique events I've ever been to. And one of the few times in my life that I personally felt like a high, like a actual like a runner's high, but it was like a philanthropic joy high from the vibe in the room. It's a very special event. And I'm so excited for you all to experience it. Is that it, everybody? Seems like that
Everyone's
might.
like just wants to get started on building their dream list, Sasha.
Yeah, everyone's already inviting, I guess. That's awesome. Yeah, and just sharing a lot of gratitude to Sasha and for all of you for taking time out to come and learn these skills that you can use at the foundation and in other places, you know. So these are good life and philanthropic skills. And yeah, like Sasha said, keep in touch, reach out for anything. We have Sasha's great event knowledge. We have Kim coming in with a lot of amazing event knowledge. And we're excited to host our biggest pop-up ever. So yeah.
I'm really excited about this event. And Erin, we can help match you up with someone if you're not able to find somebody.
Totally.
Yeah, that would.
Yeah.
I was just gonna say that. I was gonna point to the 3 staff members saying, you know, if somebody comes about, you have my contact, and I'm happy. Thank you.
We've
Yeah.
got you.
We'll find you someone. Absolutely.
Well, thank you for your time today. It was good to virtually share space with you all, and I'll see you in committee and at the event and other places.
Thank you so much, Sasha.
Thanks.
Thank you, Sasha. Thank you guys.
Okay.